Number. He lost everything. God was setting him up. Number. Episode 4. The widow everyone mocked until heaven remembered her. Hook.
They laughed when she prayed. They laughed when she gave away her last piece of bread.
And they laughed even harder when she said, God has not forgotten me.
How could he not? Her husband was dead. Her children were gone. Her home was falling apart.
She had nothing left but faith. Yet the very people who mocked her would one day stand at her door, asking for help. Because heaven has a way of lifting the people the world overlooks. This is the unforgettable tale of the widow everyone ignored until God remembered her. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by rivers and towering baobab trees, lived a woman named Amma.
Years before, she had lived a joyful life. Her husband was a respected fisherman. Their home was small, but it was always filled with laughter.
Every evening they thanked God for another day together. But joy does not always stay forever.
One rainy season, her husband set out before sunrise to fish the river. He never returned.
His boat was found floating downstream, empty. The river had taken him. Not long after, sickness swept through the village. Within months, Amma buried her only 2 children beside their father.
The woman who once sang every morning now walked through life in silence.
The villagers pitied her at first, but pity soon became distance. People stopped visiting.
Children whispered whenever she passed. Some even believed she was cursed.
If God loved her, they said, he wouldn't have taken everything. Amma heard every word. Still,
every morning she knelt beside her bed. Father, I don't understand your plan, but I still trust your heart.
Years passed.
Her little house began to fall apart. Rain leaked through the roof. The walls cracked.
Some nights she ate only wild berries gathered from the forest. Other nights she ate nothing at all.
Yet every market day, Amma carried a small basket of bread she baked from the little flour she had, not to sell, to give away.
Whenever she saw a hungry child, a traveler, or an elderly neighbor, she would hand them a loaf with a smile.
People shook their heads. She's lost her mind. She's starving, yet she's feeding strangers. One afternoon, a wealthy merchant stopped outside her house. He had traveled for days and was exhausted. I have money, he said. I'll buy every loaf you have.
Amma smiled gently. You may have one, but the rest belong to people who cannot pay.
The merchant frowned. You would refuse silver? She nodded. God has always provided enough for today. The merchant left shaking his head. Months later,
the skies changed. Dark clouds gathered. Then came the greatest flood anyone had ever seen. The river burst its banks. Homes disappeared beneath rushing water. Fields were destroyed. The village was swallowed by mud. Families climbed trees just to survive.
When the flood finally ended, almost nothing remained, except one house, Amma's. Years before, her husband had insisted on building their home on the highest hill. Everyone laughed at him. It is too far from the river. You'll waste time walking. But he simply smiled. I'd rather walk farther than rebuild later. Now everyone understood. Her small home stood untouched. Its roof remained strong. Its oven still worked. Her well still held clean water. For the first time in years,
the villagers walked toward Amma's door, not to mock her, but to ask for help.
Without hesitation, she opened her home. The same people who had ignored her now slept beneath her roof.
The same children who whispered about her now ate the bread she baked. No one was turned away. Day after day, Amma cooked, shared, comforted, prayed. She never reminded anyone how they had treated her.
She simply loved them. One evening, the village chief stood before everyone gathered outside her home.
With tears in his eyes, he said, "We called you cursed, but perhaps
you were the one heaven had prepared to save us."
Amma smiled. No, it wasn't me. It was God. He knew the flood was coming long before we did.
He allowed my husband to build this house here.
He taught me to trust him when I had nothing. And when your need became greater than mine, he had already prepared enough. Years later, travelers cross kingdoms just to hear the story of the widow whose faith outlasted her sorrow.
When people asked her the secret to her peace, she always answered the same way: when life took everything from me.
I thought God had forgotten my name.
But heaven never forgot. God was building strength in me long before he revealed his purpose.
So if you been overlooked, if you been mocked, if you cried prayers that seemed to go unanswered, don't lose hope.
God sees every tear. He hears every whispered prayer. And while others judge your present,
God is already preparing your future. One day, the very pain that made people question your faith may become the reason they believe, because heaven never forgets those who keep trusting, even in the darkest seasons.
If this story encouraged your heart, subscribe for more powerful folktales of faith, hope, and redemption.
Share this story with someone who feels forgotten today, because God, timing, is always greater than our understanding, but God.